All right, all right. Happy Monday, everybody. Woo, look at this hair. I've been teaching quite a bit today, so I haven't fixed it. Haven't had any time for that. But happy Monday. I hope everybody's having a great day. Um, if you're local, the weather has been outstanding, right? So maybe you've taken your dancing outside a little bit this past weekend. Wherever you're at today, I hope that the rest of your day goes great and your week goes well too. So this week we are still in ChaCha for the rest of the month, of course. And this week we are doing underarm turns. Okay. So by Friday, you will know both lead and follow part of the ChaCha underarm turn. Okay. When we put it together, you'll see on Friday how the lead will turn the lady. And then on the other side of the basic, he will turn himself. So whether you are a lead or follow, the elements are the same for you. Okay. And actually, for what we're doing this week, whether you're a lead or follow, you'll be doing the same exact thing as far as direction goes. Okay. So it really doesn't matter if you're lead or follow today at all because you're doing the same part. Okay. So today we're just going over the basic elements, right? So first of all, let's just talk about the underarm turn in the cha-cha. The underarm turn, basically right there, we know it's a turn that's going under the arm. Okay, so there's that much. Okay, so leads, you will have the element of leading with your frame. Okay, you will, in this instance, you will be lifting the left arm, but we'll talk more about that on tomorrow. Tomorrow we do the lead part. So you have the lead, and then you also have what your feet are doing. Okay. Now we already learned what our feet are doing last week in the basic. Actually, none of that is going to change, especially at the beginner level. We're just going to keep that consistent. So really all that we need to go over today is the underarm turn. What type of turn it's going to be, the elements of it, and what to practice before we actually put it into our pattern. All right. So let's first talk about what type of turn it is. It is a walk around turn. Now, throughout my journey in dancing, I would say 50% of people get this term wrong in their head. Okay, unless you learn it from the very beginning, then you probably have a clear understanding of what it is. But I don't know about you, but when I first learned and I heard the word walk around turn, I thought we would be doing some walking, right? And turning. Okay. That, however, is not what we're doing. Okay, so I've heard some different ways to explain this. So I'm going to use those terms, but please understand that doesn't change the the name of the step. It is called a walk around turn. It is not a pivot. It's not a spin. It's not a spiral. It is not a curl, although eventually it could be turn into a curl. Okay, it is a walk around turn. So what is a walk around turn if we're not walking? Well, some might say you're walking, okay? So for me, a walk around turn in easiest definition is one foot is staying in one spot on the ground, okay? And whatever foot I choose, so say I'm standing on my right foot, I'm going to turn towards that right foot, okay? And I'm going to walk around that foot, never leaving that foot. Okay. For those of you who are in the military, I teach a lot of military people and they say, oh, it's like an about face, right? So kind of you step forward and you turn around. Okay. But in its essence, the foot that the turn is starting on, quote unquote, so the foot you step onto does not move. It stays right where it's at. Okay, so that would be, in my opinion, the first defining factor of a walk around turn. If we go to the other way, right, if we step on the left foot, that left foot's going to stay there as I come right back to it. Okay, so that's why I think some people think it's like a pivot, because this is kind of a pivot point, right? My left foot became my pivot point, and I'm moving around it. Okay. If I have any skateboarders, right, you can think about being on your skateboard and you're using this leg to push you, right? So I can kind of step around and I can use that leg to kind of push me around, right? This would be a cool move, right? Kind of like the twist. Anyways, so one leg stays in place while the other leg steps around to come back home. Okay, walk around turn. Now, the elements of a walk around turn, if we really broke it down, what are we doing? Well, we're transferring weight, or we're stepping, and we're turning, right? So I would say those two things. Now, in ballroom dancing, we usually, and I was raised and trained to say never, actually. We never, ever, I just don't like extremes as they stress me out. They give me anxiety. But they say you never turn and step at the same exact time, okay? I would say that's 100% true, especially when you're learning, especially as a beginner. Okay, I might argue it the more advanced you get, but maybe not. I don't know. Anyways, like I said, extremes give me anxiety, so I have a hard time saying that. But so you want to step or you want to turn. You want to try not to do both of those at the same time. For example, if I am wanting to step across here, okay, I don't want to do that and turn at the same time. No, I need to move this foot. I need to pivot this foot because we also don't want to cross our feet in ballroom dancing. Okay, we want our toes pointing to where we're going to go. Okay, especially because that's one way we communicate with our partner. Okay, we're not just dancing on our own. We have to have clear communication so our partner knows where we're going. All right, so if everybody do this with me. Get your right foot free. Right foot's free. We're going to step onto the right foot. Boom, we did a step, okay? If we wanted to turn that way, reverse it, we could not go turn and step, okay? We would have to either step first, then turn, right? Or we would have to turn and then step. Most of the time, you will step and then turn, okay? Most of the time. All right, so let's do a walk around turn here. So elements of walk around turn. We have to step. Then we can turn to where we want to go next. Then we can step, right? Transfer the weight. And then we can turn to where we want to go next, which is just 180, okay? So we turn back. You turn all the way around to 180, and then you transfer your weight back, right? Our partner's over here. So then we turn back to face them. Well, let's do all that again, okay? We'll go to our right side. Pretend like your partner is right in front of you, okay? And you're going to step, right? You want that arm goes up, and you're supposed to go under the arm, okay? So now you turn, and now you're going actually under the arm, and now I turn, and now I'm coming back, transfer the weight, and now I turn to face him, okay? I do not go turn and step, turn and step, turn and step, right? So you see the difference, okay? I step, then turn, step, then turn, step, then turn. Yeah, let's try it to the other side. So if we're going to the left here, right, we step here. If that arm goes up, or say maybe it's a free turn, if you're a beginner, none of this jargon makes sense, and know that that's okay. It will eventually, okay? But he is going to make you turn over your left shoulder to do a walk around turn, okay? We can't just cross over because our toes our hips aren't pointing to where we want to go. They always need to. So we turn, get them pointing where we want to go. Then we can do our step. Now we want to go back that way, so we got to get our hips facing that way. Now we can transfer our weight. Our partner's right here, so we got to go back to our partner to dance with him again. So we turn, right? And then we can start transferring our weight to doing whatever we're doing. Yeah? So, in my opinion, the elements of a walk around turn are stepping and walking. Okay? I kind of showed you exactly what it'll look like in a walk around turn. But for my very, very new beginners who have no idea what this pattern even looks like yet, that's okay. I think that's a perfect way to start. I think that's the best way to start, because then you're really focused on yourself and how you have to move yourself, which makes the pair better, okay, because you're at 50% of it. So if that's you and you're absolutely new, all you're going to do is start stepping, then turning. Okay. So say you want to go get something out of your cupboard here, right? Well, you can't turn and step at the same time. All right. We're just going to practice this, make it very robotic. You're going to step, right? And then turn. And then you can go to your closet, right? Say you got to, pick a tomato, right? My tomatoes are still coming. I'm still picking them, right? So you got to step and then turn. Okay? Get that idea of fully transferring the weight first before you do any turns. Okay? That's going to set up really good balancing habits, which is the foundation. And if you want to become really artistic and have a lot of technique and style in your dancing, you're going to have good balance and a good foundation. Okay? So practice stepping, then turning, stepping, then turning, stepping, turn the other way. Yeah, it doesn't matter how you're doing it. It could be even just like a made-up turn. But you want to make sure you're fully on the foot before you turn. Here's the problem. Let me see if I can get my feet showing so you can see this. If we step and don't fully transfer the weight, and I hope you can see that I'm kind of split weight right now, right? And then do my turn. What happened to my legs? Let's see if I can reverse it. Actually, I think if I reverse it, it just gets bigger and bigger. Yeah, why does that happen? I don't know, but that happens, right? My legs, ooh, this is kind of fun, get bigger and further apart, okay? Why? Because my weight is in the middle, and so when I go, that's my pivot point. And so when I'm pivoting, my feet are widening to help support that. Right? It's giving me a bigger base, right? Because I'm telling it this is its middle, balancing. Okay? So your body's naturally going to do that. And we don't want that. We don't want our turns like getting in bigger and bigger. Right? That's not sharp. That doesn't look great. So when you fully transfer, now this leg, right, is the pivot point. And so when I turn, I am in full control now of what this leg is going to do because it's free, right? I can do some whatever. It frees it up to dance, essentially is what I'm saying. But when you keep it in the middle, your weight is locked up between both legs, and now it's hard to get out of this place, right? We kind of get stuck. Yes? So fully transfer your weight, then turn. Fully transfer the weight, then turn. If you're not feeling comfortable with all your weight on one foot and turning, maybe you're feeling a little off balance a little bit, go ahead and use this toe, kind of like a kickstand, right? And what you want to do is play with it and keep trying to get over the center of this leg, right? So if you start to fall one way, right, maybe pull the ankle down. You can't see that. Pull my heel down. It'll pull me one way. If I point, it'll push me back over, right? So I'm using this foot just as a little kickstand in case I need it, and practice turning on one foot. Okay? I don't know why I find that stuff so fun, but I do. So I hope that was helpful. Tomorrow we'll go into the leads part for the underarm turn. I'm going to teach you how to lead it and then also how to do an underarm turn for yourself as well. Okay, so we'll go over that nice and slow. We'll first look at the feet and where the feet are going, then we'll build in the actual lead. All right, and then on Wednesday, we'll do the follow. Thursday, Mike will be back as long as he is healthy and good. He injured his back over the weekend. So we'll see how he's doing. If he can't do it, I'll have a sub. But on Thursday, we'll learn how to put them together and how to make it feel as smooth as possible when we're beginners. And then Friday, we'll do the question and answer session. All right. So yeah, that is it for today, guys. Please subscribe if you haven't, and if this is helping. If you have any advice or feedback to make these better for you, you know my email, I hope. And if you don't, just leave a comment and I'll head out to you and we'll be in touch. All right. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, 3 p.m. Have a great rest of your day.